A television host steps in front of his audience and makes a bold claim that even the most dangerous neighborhoods in America have the potential to become completely safe, and that this transformation could be achieved without putting a single law enforcement officer's life at risk. He points out that this kind of progress has already been rolling out across countries all over the world, while America continues to fall behind. The host introduces himself as Pat Novak, and to give his argument real weight, he brings a high-ranking military officer named General Monroe onto the show. Novak welcomes him warmly, thanks him for granting rare access to his operations, and asks him to walk the audience through exactly how the system works. Monroe explains how the robots function during live missions, and how they are built to handle a wide range of situations on the ground. Novak has also sent a reporter to the Middle East so viewers can watch the machines operating in real time. The reporter moves through the streets with cameras rolling, explaining that the robots are programmed to engage only those who register as genuine threats and calling the whole setup a landmark achievement for public safety. Despite that enthusiasm, the local residents are clearly uncomfortable with machines controlling their streets. Before long, a rebel group moves quietly through the city carrying heavy weapons and launches a fierce, coordinated strike against the robots, setting off a violent battle that spreads rapidly across the entire area. Ground robots open fire and begin destroying buildings, while aerial drones pick off attackers from above, and some rebels leap directly from rooftops onto the machines, trying to bring them down manually. As explosions tear through the city, the robots lock onto a terrified young boy clutching a small knife who is clearly only trying to protect himself. But the system reads the knife as a threat, and the robot fires on him without any hesitation. Even after watching that unfold, Novak refuses to change his position and tells his audience that the robot simply followed its programming. At a police station across town, Detective Alex sits down with his boss, who wants answers about an incident his corrupt co-workers have been using against him. Alex explains calmly that the previous night he and his partner ran an undercover operation that exposed an illegal weapons dealer. But when he checked the evidence locker afterward, the weapons were completely gone, and no officer had signed for them, pointing directly to corruption inside the department. He and his partner then went undercover again to meet a gang leader at a restaurant, but the operation collapsed when the leader received a tip-off that Alex was a cop. The gang leader immediately ordered his men to kill both officers, and a brutal gunfight broke out inside the building. They made a desperate break for the rear exit when an opening appeared, but his partner was shot while fleeing through the back alley. After hearing everything, Alex's boss furiously scolds him for operating without backup and vows to personally lead the investigation into the dirty officer. In Washington, D.C., Omnicorp CEO Raymond Sellers is pitching robot police to government senators, but they reject the idea again because they believe machines without emotions cannot be trusted on the streets. Back at headquarters, Sellers gathers his team and argues that since the public demands something human, the answer is to merge a human being directly with a machine. He approaches Dr. Dennett Norton, a specialist in advanced prosthetics that respond to a person's thoughts, and convinces him to build a human-machine hybrid. They agree they need someone far more recent. Back in the city, Alex's corrupt co-workers tip off the gang leader he has been hunting, and together they decide Alex must be permanently removed. A criminal plants a bomb under his car while Alex is visiting his wounded partner at the hospital. That evening, Alex returns home and spends time with his son David and wife Clara, and just as the two of them begin to relax, his car alarm goes off. He walks outside to check, and the bomb detonates, leaving him critically injured. Omnicorp reaches out to Clara immediately and offers to rebuild Alex with a fully mechanical body as his only path to survival. Clara hesitates, but the staff walk her through the devastating extent of his injuries and make it clear that a quick decision is the only thing that can save him. Left with no real choice, she agrees. 3 months later, Alex appears to be dancing happily with Clara at a house party, but the scene shatters apart as scientists explain it is simply a memory replaying inside his mind. His new body is roughly 90% mechanical with only his brain remaining human, and the memories of his former life are slowly beginning to surface. When Alex finally wakes up, he is disoriented and furious. Norton gently reminds him of everything that happened and carefully guides him through his first steps in the new body. The sensation overwhelms him, and the moment someone calls him an amputee, he panics and demands the suit be removed. When Norton tries to calm him, Alex shoves him aside and bolts out of the building at a startling speed, clearing the perimeter wall in a single leap before Norton remotely shuts his system down. Back in the lab, Norton removes sections of the robotic body and shows him that only a handful of human organs remain, making escape impossible. Norton tells him the procedure saved his life, but Alex says he would rather be dead than live as a machine and asks to be disconnected. Norton refuses and reminds him that Clara made this decision and his family still needs him. He lets Alex call her, and Clara tells tells him he still looks like himself and cannot wait to see him again, which is enough to pull Alex back from the edge. Alex settles into the lab routine and begins combat training the following day alongside Rick, the officer commanding Omnicorp's robotic forces. Rick is skeptical about adding a human element to an already functioning system, but still equips Alex with weapons built into compartments in his mechanical legs. They run a simulation where both Alex and a standard robot must neutralize criminals and protect civilians. While the rescue succeeds, Rick's doubts prove valid when the robots react instantly while Alex shows a noticeable delay between thought and action. That evening, Alex quietly monitors the gang leader investigation at a computer terminal. The next morning, Sellers reviews the results and orders Norton to fix the reaction problem immediately, and also pushes for a sleeker tactical suit to make Alex look more impressive publicly. Later in the lab, Norton makes a hidden modification to Alex's brain, one that will make him believe he is acting freely while the machine is actually controlling every decision. Alex also receives a full visual overhaul, his armor now smooth, black, and modern. They bring him to an abandoned building where he must fight Rick and a full squad of robots alone. Drawing on razor-sharp reflexes and using his visor to read the environment, Alex moves through the test with precision, picking off robots one by one and ducking behind cover every time fire comes his way. He never takes a single hit and eventually drops Rick's exoskeleton to win. Because he genuinely believes he is making every call himself, he never suspects the machine is guiding him and the test is declared a complete success. Norton arranges for Alex to visit his family. He pauses at the door before going in and Clara wraps her arms around him the moment she sees him. David is cautious at first but warms up after touching the mechanical body and tells his dad he is glad he is back and has been saving some games for them to watch together. The visit is cut short for maintenance, but before leaving, Alex stops by to see his recovering partner and promises he will bring the people responsible to justice. Days later, Sellers organizes a massive public event to introduce Alex to the city, while Norton loads years of crime data into his system and connects him to every security camera in the city. The sheer volume overwhelms his human brain, and when footage of his car exploding appears in the feed, Alex seizes and collapses. Norton argues the press conference should be postponed, but the Omnicorp team refuses and insists the problem be fixed immediately. With no alternative, Norton clears the room and suppresses Alex's emotions entirely, turning him cold and purely functional. With that done, they finish loading the crime database without issue. At the public event, Alex walks straight past Clara and friends without recognition, seeing everyone around him as either a civilian or a threat. While on stage, his scanner flags a wanted criminal, and Alex drops into the crowd and has the man restrained within seconds. The audience is stunned, and Novak uses the moment on television to argue that robots outperform human officers. Clara is devastated because the company refuses to allow her or David any access to Alex, and Norton tries to reassure her that his detached behavior is only a temporary side effect. The following day, Alex returns to active duty and calmly announces he will bring in 13 criminals before the day is over. He taps into the city camera network, tracks down a group of dealers, corners one, and gets the location of their hideout, then rides straight into an illegal drug operation, firing as he goes. Standard bullets do nothing to slow him, and his scanner catches every attacker coming from behind. Omnicorp celebrates while Sellers gives Rick the green light to monitor Alex closely, and over the following weeks, Alex becomes a celebrated figure across the city. Meanwhile, the corrupt officers quietly meet with the gang leader to figure out how to neutralize Alex before he dismantles their entire operation. Later that day, Clara fights through traffic to reach Alex and pleads with him to feel something, telling him that David has been suffering violent nightmares since the explosion and desperately needs his father present. Alex rides away without reacting, but something quietly begins shifting inside him as he goes. His system surfaces security footage, showing that David had actually witnessed the car bomb go off with his own eyes, and that discovery cuts through everything the suppression had built. Slowly, his brain begins pulling the emotions back that were taken from him, and the anger that rises is deeply personal. He decides without hesitation that he is going to fix what has been done to his family. Back at the Omnicorp lab, the monitoring team detects the neurological change and debates shutting him down. But Norton holds them off and argues Alex is still working an active case. Using city camera data, then tracks down a man connected to the gang leader, drags him out of a moving car through the window, breaks his hand, and pins it under his foot until the man gives up the driver's phone number. Tracing the signal leads Alex directly to the gang space, but the corrupt officers have already called ahead to warn the leader. The criminals are waiting inside in complete darkness with night vision equipment and serious firepower. Alex crashes through on his bike, activates his own night vision, and tears through the building with brutal efficiency until every last enemy is down, though he takes real damage in the process. Once power is restored, he scans fingerprints on the recovered weapons and gets the names of the corrupt officers. He rides to the precinct, pulls the recorded footage up on every screen in the building, and confronts them directly. One lunges at him and Alex shoots him in self-defense. The other breaks down and confesses that their boss orchestrated the entire operation from the beginning, and Alex shoots him too before turning and walking straight toward his own boss, demanding she answer for everything. Just as that confrontation peaks, Rick remotely shuts Alex down and calls Sellers, telling him they can use this to their advantage. Novak gets on air and frames the whole thing as proof that machines cannot be corrupted the way humans can. The following day, the government moves toward a vote to authorize robot officers across local departments, but the broadcast is interrupted when Claire goes on the news and publicly states she has been denied access to her husband and that Omnicorp will not return her calls. That statement puts Sellers on edge because he knows that if Claire reaches Alex again, his emotions could resurface and they would lose control of him entirely, killing the legislation in the process. Retiring Alex would make the experiment look like a failure, so the decision is made internally that Alex should simply die and become a tragic symbol rather than a liability. Sellers orders Norton to end it. Norton refuses at first, but Sellers secures his agreement by promising 10 years of laboratory funding, and Norton agrees only after securing financial compensation for Alex's family. Sellers then lets Clara and David walk away, believing Alex is already dead. At the lab, Norton arrives to find soldiers already there demanding access to Alex, and when he refuses, they open fire, forcing him to run. Norton reaches Alex first and activates a failsafe that sends a false death signal back to Sellers, and when Alex wakes up, Norton explains that the transmitter has been removed, so nobody can monitor or shut him down remotely anymore. Alex takes out the two soldiers and listens, as Norton lays out the full picture of what Sellers planned. Consumed with rage, Alex decides he is going straight for Sellers, and nothing Norton says changes his mind. He rides into the city and Rick spots him from the road, calling ahead to warn Sellers, who had been moments away from announcing Alex's death on live television. Sellers' team rushes him along with Clara and David up to the building rooftop to wait for a helicopter, while Alex arrives at Omnicorp headquarters and finds the entire perimeter surrounded by robots and armed guards. He drops one guard quickly enough to convince the others to stand down, then drives straight inside and begins tearing through the robots stationed within. This fight is a completely different level, because these machines carry reinforced armor and heavy weapons, and Alex absorbs hit after hit from powerful rounds. When he tries to climb one to disable it, the robot launches him across the room, and he crashes under debris. He shoots his way free, but his leg is damaged, and the robots begin pressing in from behind. Then a police truck crashes through the wall and Alex's partner steps out and plants himself directly in front of Alex, and the robots immediately stand down because their programming identifies police officers as protected. Alex slips through a back corridor and pushes deeper inside until he finds Rick waiting. He tries to fire and his own body locks him out because Rick is flagged as non-threatening in the system. Rick enjoys the moment and fires warning shots around Alex before preparing to finish it, but Alex's partner appears and shoots Rick first. Rick gets one last shot off and catches Alex's partner on the way down. Alex checks the wound, determines it is not fatal, and heads for the roof. Sellers is standing there with Clara and David when the helicopter spots Alex and immediately pulls away without landing. Sellers is confident Alex cannot touch him, since he is also marked as non-threatening in the system. But watching Alex resist the programming rattles him enough that he threatens to kill Clara and David. That is exactly the wrong thing to say, because the love Alex carries for his family tears through every layer of machine control, and he shoots Sellers. Sellers fires back at the same moment and Alex goes down, but Clara and David rush to him and he tells them he is going to make it. Afterward, Norton restores Alex's original prototype body so he can live normally with his family again. News networks report the government has officially canceled the robot police legislation. Norton testifies before the Senate, and Novak closes his broadcast by declaring with full conviction that the United States remains the greatest country in the world.